Hello and welcome to the Big Bang Theory podcast. My name's John. I'm here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Hello.
Dan, it turns out last night it was just too much of a late night for Gramper. He's been put to bed.
Yeah, wasn't he just?
Wasn't he just? Exeter City.
Take your cod liver oil and get yourself to bed quick, Gramper.
Bit of cocoa on the stove, Gramper, because it's 4-1 to City. Take that, Ollie. Excellent game of football.
Who are we?
Who are we? I tell you who we are. We're the top scorers in England.
Yeah.
I mean, when's that ever been said before?
I know, it's mad. I was tempted to listen back to some of our old episodes from last year when we just couldn't score any goals. I mean, I didn't actually do that because that would be mad, but I was tempted.
Yeah.
Just to give myself a bit of perspective and, But yeah, 4-1. And not only that, good win in the cup midweek as well.
Absolutely.
What a week.
What a week it's been. And now there's a vaccine for coronavirus. It's like all my 3 dreams have come true at once.
Yeah, I did have to have a root canal, so there's a slight dip, but other than that...
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you for taking that for the rest of us, because...
oh, you're welcome. You're very
I think
welcome.
the yin and the yang there. Root canal versus Joel Randall's on fire.
Yeah, who else is on fire? Your boy Bowman.
Big boy Bowman. Absolutely booting him.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about Grimsby, shall we, first?
Yeah.
So this was last night, Tuesday night, away at Blundell Park, which looks as lovely as ever, by the way.
Yep.
On a dark December night.
Miles away.
Absolutely miles away. Jake Taylor's birthday treat was a coach trip to Grimsby. Poor fella.
He just got married. Yeah.
Oh, I don't think anyone said. So up we go. Maxted back in goal.
Yeah. Goodbye, Jokel.
Goodbye, Andreasen.
Yeah. I'll miss him. But it's good to see Johnny Maxted back. A good game to come back in for, wasn't it?
Was.
Especially in hindsight. Yeah, basically nothing to do.
That's true. There were... What are we saying here? Well, I think we started nicely. We started brightly. Jay had a good chance really early on, 10 minutes in or something.
Yeah, it looked like business as usual, didn't it, to begin with? It was that same old league team, wasn't it?
Yep, it
we've
was.
become used to, apart from, Maxted, obviously.
Yeah.
Started well. Scored early.
20 minutes in.
Not that early.
Dare we say, Dan, it was from a proper corner. Proper corner resulted in some trouble for Grimsby. They couldn't clear it. It bounced around a bit. Sweeney wins the header and nods it down to Bowman, who, well, a fortnight ago's Bowman would be putting that high and wide, putting it into that biffer bin that we could all see in the corner of the pitch.
Yeah.
But the new Bowman...
So, Bowman goal, Sweeney assist.
I mean...
Have that me from a month ago.
Did not see that coming. Puts us 1-0 up. Very nice.
But that's what we kind of said about Bowman, isn't it? That, he needed to score to get confident. Not just us, everyone. He needed the goals to get confident and get back into a bit of a patch. And that's what's happened, isn't it? So,
it really is. So that was lovely. Put us
so 1-0. Yeah, it looks like, here we go. This old thing again.
Then Taylor was through clean through on goal.
Yeah.
Should really have beaten the keeper, I think. He had enough time and space.
All too much for him on his birthday.
It was. He'd...
Yeah, keeper saved 1-on-1. In the end, obviously it didn't matter. But I think we had 2 1-on-1s. Matt J had one as well.
Yeah, that was before the goal. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so... But I think what it looks like is that we're just going to have to outscore every team, aren't we? Because we are going to concede.
Well, indeed, we did soon concede. So on 31 minutes, Josh Key kind of lost his man. I mean, that guy who put the cross in looked pretty good for Grimsby, I have to say. They
looked good down that left-hand side first half, didn't they? Yeah. It's a bit of a kind of... It was both fullbacks, really, wasn't it? And that Sparks and Josh Key, I mean, they're both 7 or 8 years old. So, I mean, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
And neither of them really are fullbacks.
I reckon on the way home, those youngsters would have been really, coach trip late at night, tired and teasy.
Yeah.
Matt Taylor's having to deal with all sorts of tantrums.
Yeah, first they get a bit silly, then they're getting grumpy.
Then they eat too much cake.
Start. Yeah.
Then they throw up.
But you know what? They've done unbelievably well.
They have.
Barely even needs saying, it's so obvious. But yeah, defensively, there's going to be a couple of bits like that. And they were other than that one kind of time, I thought they were really good defensively and have been all season. So
it looked like it might have meandered on to half-time then as a 1-1, but in fact, City responded again really well. There was a brilliant ball from Collins right through the middle, just to the left of the D, and Bowman could have stopped it. He lets it go, puts it through to Randall Williams with a really lovely finish.
Well, no, Bowman doesn't touch it.
Bowman, no, but he leaves it. To, like he's in the position to touch it.
Right, okay,
lets it go for Williams. I mean, I'd call that finish sumptuous.
I would call it sumptuous. I'd also call that a defence-splitting pass.
Yes, you'd be right. You'd be right to call it that.
Great finish, Williams. Such a tight angle. And again, another player who's got on the score sheet a bit and now looks like a bit of confidence back. And look at the results. I mean, the results of the confidence, but also our results. But we were doing well before our key men were back in form. So we were scoring and winning when our probably our two of our top goal scorers from last season couldn't buy a goal.
Yep.
And now they are.
Yep.
10 goals in a week in the league. Thanks very much.
Thank you very much. So that was 2-1. That was 40 minutes. Trundling on to half-time, you'd think. But no, another Collins ball, who's been excellent again, hasn't he? Archie Collins.
He's the unsung hero of this team. He's too good. He's too good for League Two, and I'm just worried that someone's going to realise at some point. He's only 21 still.
Remarkable.
And he plays like like last night especially was an example of, I think, of like him just being like on a different plane to everyone else on the pitch. I mean, he's just sort of in the middle, setting the tempo of everything, and just sort of he just gets better and better of every game.
He's got more culture than some sort of association set up by Boy George, hasn't he? I mean, he's really got the kind of lay of the land, knows when to pass, knows when to tackle.
Yeah, he's pulling all the strings.
Yeah, he really is. So another ball from Collins, which goes out to Key on the right wing this time, who is very advanced, and puts the cross in. There was some debate about who finished it. They've given it to Randall Williams.
Well, it's still raging on, the debate at the moment. This morning, I think it's So it looks like to me like ball comes in and it's like Randall Williams back heel flick, very similar to Matt Jay's goal from last week. But it seems like as he flicks the back heel, Jay right behind him also sort of gets a toe onto it. And there's a still, you can look this up on I think it's on Exeter City's Twitter. There's a still of the ball making contact. You really can't tell who's. Anyway, officially it's Randall's goal. So
interesting, but that puts 3-1 up at half time, and you feel like that is a.
Well, we're comfortable then, aren't we?
Wow. Grimsby
seem like they've gone to bits, and you kind of think, well, maybe we'll get a response second half. Maybe they'll change some things around, or Ian Holloway masterclass, a bollocking from Gramper.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't know any of those, but it doesn't come.
I mean, they went into the changing room ready to get fired up, but he's asleep under a newspaper, so what can you do?
He dished him out with some Werthers at half time.
Some Murray mints. Anyway, you're absolutely right to say that really the second half was much in the same vein. 68 minutes. We go 4-1 up, the old Exeter City.
Now, this might be the pick of the bunch, I think.
Okay.
Without explaining the whole thing, the intricacies of it, but sort of comes into Bowman, it works out to... Is Law on by this point? No, it's still not that stage, is it?
No, but Joel Randall picks it up and runs with it, doesn't he? And
basically it ends up at the feet of Joel Randall, and he smashes it in.
Well, he goes to smash it in, doesn't he? And then Jay gets the deflection.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking of that. Oh, yeah, that's the one. Yeah. So he goes, great little sort of his. Yeah, that's right. It's sort of like his almost signature move, isn't it? It's a bit like an Iron Robin,
Yeah, absolutely.
Cutting in from the right.
We know what he's going to do, but we cannot stop him.
Just keeps going past people on that left foot until he gets the little window to pull the trigger, and he does it. And then this is a good point actually about how the first choice in that position, that number 10 role, let's call it, is Matt Jay over Nicky Law. Now, every time Nicky Law's played, and we'll come on to the Gillingham game, he's been brilliant, as he always is. Such a consistent performer. I was kind of thinking, well, I mean, he's not quite as mobile as Jay, which is true, he isn't, but he still is. He's no slouch, He still gets about Nicky Law. What he doesn't do, I think, is do those strikery things that Matt Jay does, which is like following in shots like that, popping up in the 6-yard box, even the one before with Randell.
Yeah.
Nicky Law doesn't find himself in those positions. His passing is a bit slicker than Jay's, and maybe his vision, but he doesn't. But that's something Matt Jay's doing amazingly well. And a lot of us, I mean, again, if you can be bothered, listen back. We were clamouring for Jay to start last year, weren't we? Do you know what I mean? And not in place of Law, because it's like, again, it's one of those nice problems to have, because who do you play? Well, there's a lot of games this season and a lot of short space of time, so this is kind of the perfect chance to try and keep everyone on the same page. And it works so well, doesn't it? Matt Jay's been an absolute revelation.
I don't know. You'd have to ask him.
A revelation that the entirety of the Big Bank already knew for about 2 years.
A revelation to the league table and the scoring charts, perhaps. But I'd be interested to know, does Matt Taylor set them up the same? Like, do Jay and Law think they play in the same position?
Yeah, I don't know.
And then does Jay see himself as a striker and does Law see himself as a midfielder? You know what I mean? Like, it's a subtle difference, isn't it? But to be a striker is different than being an attacking midfielder, even though you're only 5 metres difference, if that.
I think that's probably right. I think maybe it's just like that's the difference in them. They're put in the same position. You're playing here. Law's mindset is to be a bit more of a kind of link man. Jay's is more to be getting on the end of stuff and scoring. But, it's brilliant, isn't it? I look at the teams. I think either way, if whoever's playing in that position, I'm happy. It's like, how often do you get that, especially at this level, to have like 2 players in one position that you're equally happy playing?
Absolutely. So it ended up the old Exeter City special, a 4-1. Very nice. I hope Jake Taylor I hope they got him a cake or something on the coach on the way home.
Yeah, I reckon they would have ordered a bit of inside knowledge here. And this was from the Gillingham game, but I have it on good authority that a Dominos was ordered to the team bus immediately.
Love it. Well deserved.
Very well deserved. So maybe they did something like that. And I don't know, what can you get someone desserts from Domino's?
Yeah, you can get you can get a chocolate pizza. I wouldn't recommend that.
Right. Or Viennetta? Can you get a Viennetta?
Yeah, probably some sort of Viennetta. It's a bit soft by the time it's arrived. You don't care.
The other day, I live in this quite student-y sort of area, and I went to...
Known as Exeter.
Yeah, right. I went to the shop near my house. This sort of quite new sort of bougie co-op, yeah. And it's just students in there and me, basically. Like, that's the only people that ever go in there.
Right.
And they've got this traffic light system now where you can't go in if the red light showing.
Oh, you don't mean like... Red light, you've got a girlfriend. Yellow light, you're not sure.
Like the old student party.
Green light, you're up for anything.
They might be going on too,
Okay.
but I was thinking about that. I have to always wear red when I go there.
Just to make sure.
Or green. No. So whether you can go in or not, red light means don't come in, green light means come in. So I was waiting outside, and you're just sort of standing there staring through the window, but you're staring right down the middle of the self-service checkouts.
Okay.
So you can just sort of watching everyone and seeing what they're buying. And this one lad, I was like in a rush. I can't remember, maybe even to watch an Exeter City game. Let's say it was to make it relevant to this.
Sure.
I'm in a bit of a rush, and I see this guy, this student lad, sort of amble over so slowly to the checkout and take ages at it. The only thing he's buying was a Viennetta.
Sure. Well, you don't want to rush that kind of decadence.
You do. It's going to melt.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm outside waiting.
He doesn't know that. He doesn't care.
He didn't care about that one bit. Yeah.
I mean, Viennetta, in your mind, it's a luxury dessert, but in actuality, it's a fairly reasonable price.
I haven't had one since the 90s.
You'd be surprised to find that they're still $1.99.
Well, now with my new teeth, maybe I can enjoy such frozen treats.
I mean, in the era of Ben and Jerry's being £5 a tub, I'd recommend a Viennetta any day.
Oh, yeah, okay, sure. Ben and Jerry's a bit much for me anyway. It's a bit too much going on.
Very rich.
Yeah, I don't mind that, but it's just like too much,
Okay.
Anyway, let's get back to anything more to say about
Must
Grimsby.
No, I think that was excellent
Oh,
result.
here's something to say about it.
Oh, yeah.
Why are we all dressed as Dick Dastardly?
Well, quite.
I've never seen such a weird combination of colours for a kit before.
The old red and white striped home shirt, the old purple away shorts and socks.
Why were you doing this? You did this to Yokel the other day. Is it someone just keeps forgetting the kit, or are they getting it out and go like, oh, these shorts and socks are still wet?
I'd like to suggest maybe. It's usually the ref that decides, isn't it?
Right. Do you think so?
Yeah.
Do you think it's because it's too similar? Obviously, we've already talked about their kit weirdly this season because it's very similar to ours for a team that's normally stripes. They've gone for a sort of, but essentially the sort of, what is it? Is it black and white or navy and white?
Black and white, yeah.
Black and white sort of version of our kit. But is that just is the ref really thinking, I can't tell the difference here?
It comes down to things like when the linesman can see a foot or a leg.
Yeah, okay.
Offside. You know, like you see them all, if we're doing the trademark love train, and they're looking to see who's offside. Obviously, it's much easier if it's purple shorts versus black shorts. So that would be why.
Yeah, okay. You think you'd see that more often, that happen more often then, wouldn't you? But that's obviously it. But it did look weird.
It looked bizarre.
So by the way, not a combination of colours you see that often.
The character from Wacky Races who you just mentioned, that's a real dividing line in Devon pronunciations, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what my pronunciation is.
You said Dick Dastardly.
No, I didn't. I said Dick Dastardly.
Dick Dastardly. I might say Dick Dastardly.
You say Dick Dastardly.
Dick Dastardly.
Which is the Devon pronunciation. Now, I am from Devon. I'm not sort of trying to deny that by pronouncing it differently. This is just how I talk.
I would suggest you could literally pinpoint the corner of Devon someone's from with just those two words.
You reckon? I don't know if what's mine then? What area is mine?
I think you're, Exeter.
Exeter people. Exeter accent is very much Dick Dastardly.
Yeah, it is. You're right, it is. Dick Dastardly. Anyway, that's...
who knows what they talk out where you come from? I can't even understand a word.
Anyway, if you pronounce Dick Dastardly in a different way, we'd love to hear from you. You can get in touch. Send us a voice memo. I'd love that on Gmail. You can get in touch with us in all the normal ways, of course. We're on Twitter at BigBankPod. We're on email, bigbankpod@gmail.com. And you can find us on Facebook as the Big Bank Theory Podcast. Don't forget to give us all your Wacky Races pronunciations. I'd love to hear them. Penelope Pitstop. How'd you say it? Anyway, that was Grimsby. We'll talk about Gillingham away after this. Welcome back to the podcast where the only mention of Muttley is in relation to Dick Dastardly. Okay, so Gillingham, second round of the FA Cup, away at Priestfield. I didn't see a vicar. I didn't see a single vicar. But I guess that's because of social distancing.
Yeah. Swatted them aside, didn't we?
The Vickers or the Gillinghams? We did. We swatted them aside. Andreasen's last game, of course. Thank you very much, Jockle. Fine work indeed.
Yeah.
Maybe one of our best ever loan players.
Big claim, but possibly.
I mean, he's up there.
I really liked him, and I was a bit sort of like, oh, does he have to go when he left? Do you know? But as soon as I saw Maxted back in there, to be honest, I was really pleased to see him again. So
he's ours, isn't he? He's our own cuddly bear.
Big cuddly bungle.
Absolute cuddly bungle. And fortunately, he didn't make any bungles against Grimsby, and neither did Andreasen against Gillingham. I think he's enjoyed his time here, hasn't he?
Oh, he definitely has. And everyone always says it's, we're obviously a bit biased. Everyone always says it's like a nice dressing room to be in, it's a nice atmosphere and whatever, and they all seem like a good bunch, don't they?
They do.
So I'm sure they were nice to him, and it's his first experience of playing first team football, but he's gone now and we'll never see him again, so move on. I've
moved on. Of course, Reading are on for a promotion push, so we might see him on Match of the Day next year, which would be nice.
Very unlikely, I'd say, that he's anywhere near first team, especially if they get promoted to the Premier League.
So the game started. I mean, first of all I could hear was that goon Steve Evans on the sideline. I mean, he was effing and blinding like nobody's business immediately.
Yeah, well, when you get beat so comprehensively by a team from the division below you, then it really just comes across as pathetic, doesn't it?
I'd put this team Gillingham in the same category as Lincoln of a couple of years ago.
Oh, they were awful. Horrible team.
Really were. So we went down 1-0. By the way, spoiler alert, we won the game 3-2 ultimately. But we started poorly. Page lost the ball on the edge of the box, really. It was a quick throw out by Andreasen, maybe.
Which he liked doing, didn't he? He loved the quick rollout, which is one of the reasons I really liked him. It didn't work this time because I'm not sure Page was really expecting it.
No.
Sad about him. He got another injury during that game. He had to go off in the first half. So that happened to him. Essentially, he got his pocket picked, and Gillingham had a tap in. We're 1-0 down, and then not long after, it's gone off again. I think it was a different. Matt Taylor said it looked like it was a different injury to the one last match. I suppose it's something, but he's literally made out of crystal, isn't he?
Yeah, could be a bit of Dartington crystal.
Swarovski.
Nice. So we recovered pretty quickly. That was on 21 minutes, but we scored the equaliser 29 minutes. It was won by Key, Bowman to Randall to Law. Lovely finish from Law. Quite like.
Again, I mean, we're just talking about that. Good, nice to have Nicky Law, Matt J option. So there was Law for this one, and his link up with Randall was amazing, wasn't it? You know,
it was. It really was. And then swiftly followed. They returned the favour to one another. Law drives into the box, lays it off to Joel Randall. We're 2-1 up 35 minutes in after being 1-0 down.
Yeah, I mean, amazing little turnaround, wasn't it?
Really was. And you really feel at the minute like, doesn't matter. If we go down 1-0, doesn't matter.
I think, in a way, I think it might have to be like that for the whole season. But because we do look like conceding. We look like we were going to concede last night as well against Grimsby. You know, and yeah, perhaps with our defence the way it is, you know, like we've got a couple of young, inexperienced fullbacks who essentially are learning the trade. And then you've got, you know, that centre-back pairing seems to be it seems to have settled on Sweeney and Parks. Which, if you'd suggested was the centre-back pairing last season, you know, people would have been upset. But they've been brilliant, but it hasn't really been that consistent because those players are going in and out, and McArdle's come in, and whoever else, you know. So we are going to concede, but so maybe that's what we need to do: is just use all that talent we've got up top and in the midfield to just outscore everyone and blow teams away.
Well, we're really built for scoring, aren't we? So. We then again got another one before half-time. This time it was Collins and then to Law, then to Randall. And Randall he basically tracks the whole width of the box, doesn't he? Or certainly the 6-yard box.
Yeah.
To then very calmly, what did he beat? 3 men?
Yeah. Oh, it's such a nice move, this one. And obviously Joel Randall's part in it, you know, skipping through the box and finishing like in that manner, but also the build-up to it as well. Another example of Collins, just the vision he's got. To have that kind of, you know, controlling the pace, but also vision and the creativity that he's got. Like I said earlier, if we can keep hold of him for as long as possible, we'll do very well.
It was lovely to see, and really nice to be mentally strong enough and physically strong enough to go up and play our kind of natural game against a team like Gillingham, which is the exact opposite of what we did, of course, against Northampton at Wembley.
Yeah.
You know, we think, well, we're just gonna play our game. We're gonna be strong enough, and I think players like Key actually are really up for a physical battle, aren't they? They're not fazed by that stuff.
And Sparks,
yeah,
which I think we talked about. That's why he was getting injured so much last season, because he's just so up for it and like up for getting stuck in and putting the bodies on the line, and they're strong, aren't they? Those two,
they are.
We, you know, again, the credit's got to go to the Exeter City Academy for building these players and you know, obviously there's a natural talent there, but equipping them for the first team in the way they obviously do, which is like giving them that steel as well as letting them express themselves and like obviously play this brilliant attacking football that we've been playing. But there's the strength they've got, and obviously the focus that's been put on that. And the durability, and they're good in the air, and they're not frightened. And it's a real credit to the work that's being done there. And like, makes you quite proud to be a supporter of this club, doesn't it? You know?
It really does, yeah. So that's 3-1 half-time. Don't forget, this is a team who are no slouches. They're, you know, League One stalwarts. Steve Evans knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
What he what he's doing is awful, but he knows what he's doing. Didn't matter. We come out second half. We just
they're falling over all over the place,
Yeah.
aren't they? They're clipping
us.
heels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're Bowman was getting absolute battering, wasn't he?
He was, yeah.
Yeah. But we shut that game down. So second half, we just come out and they're not getting anything. Now they got a second goal with about 10 minutes left, I think. But by then the thing's over, isn't it? Their keeper comes up. This is the very last kick of the game.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't
He actually gets a foot on it, doesn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he has the shot.
Yeah. Sends it into the stand.
Sends it into the stands. Get a sit-down keeper.
Yeah. That's all you got, Evans, is it?
That's all you got, mate.
Setting your keeper up. The last minute equaliser.
Yeah. So that was that. 3-2 in the cup. So we all sat down and watched a very lengthy cup draw. And I know the third round of the cup's a big deal, but the BBC are dragging it out more and more than ever, aren't they?
Well, I think at least this time, I mean, I think it would be worse. Yeah, you're right. It went on forever, but before they'll sort of try and make a whole program out of it. You remember they did that to the National Lottery as well? They sort of like built it, this about sort of like 5-minute event into about 2-hour show.
I remember.
And it's like, yeah, just get on with it.
Do you remember?
I like it though. It is quite exciting. I was like right on the edge of my sofa waiting for that, and then you sort of saw all the big teams just like slowly disappear. Like, all right, okay. But then I'm not sure what we sort of like is the best thing for us to get. You know, I think we've gone right in the middle, basically, haven't we? Really?
I think it's really nice result, actually, a really nice draw. So if you don't know, listeners, we've got Sheffield Wednesday at home in the third round of the cup. Now, Wednesday are a team in an absolute slump.
Are they?
They started the season with deducted points. They're still in the relegation zone. They've appointed Tony Pulis as their manager.
Yes.
Which is quite interesting.
We've had Pulis at St James Park before, haven't we?
Remind me.
West Brom. West Brom.
Yeah, you're right.
When
that was the cup as well, wasn't it?
FA
That was
Cup,
third round. Yeah.
Brunt and whatnot.
That's right. 2 or 3 years ago. So I think what's really interesting about that, obviously Wednesday have to absolutely focus on the league, and their Christmas is hectic.
I mean, just to not get relegated. Basically.
They have to not get relegated, so they might well not have their full team. I think it's a winnable game, and I think that'll be a real, it'll really buoy up City, even if we can just give a good account of ourselves. But I think in a way, if it's Manchester City coming, you're just waiting for the 10-0, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm quite looking forward to it. I think we could. We can definitely give them a game, can't we?
Absolutely.
On the form we're in at the moment, we know things change, but it's not that long away, is it?
No,
it's quite pretty soon.
And it's nice to know that maybe there'll be there'll almost certainly be supporters there.
Yeah.
So it's another game that some of us can get to.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe even we might be there. You might be there.
So I mean,
the listener. I mean, someone will be there.
Someone will be there. Yeah, that's right.
About time too, because all I'm doing now is like preying on anyone who's working in any kind of media, and if they sort of even post one slightly negative thing about essentially having to go to work, which is go and watch football, I'm sort of like enraged.
Well,
at least you get to go.
Dan, be enraged no more.
No, I know.
We're going to be there.
Yeah. So Wednesday, last time
Wednesday, but it'll be on a Saturday.
Played them. Last time we played them.
Yeah.
Was that, correct me if I'm wrong, we're in the same league as them, League One.
League One.
Look, is it last day of the season? Troy Archibald Henville takes on the entire team.
I don't know when it was in the
Slots
season,
one in.
But marvellous.
I think it might have been the last game of the season. Anyway, that was good, wasn't it?
That was good. So anything like that.
Did Tiz come on?
No, he hasn't played, has he? Oh.
He used to bring himself on, didn't he?
Because it was the last game of the season. I can't.
Maybe I might be mixing. I know he used to do that. I might be mixing up a few different things.
Yeah, well, interesting.
But yeah, Troy, if you haven't, if you want to sort of trip down memory lane, it's worth looking that one up. It's on YouTube. It's like real good fan footage of it. I'll post a little link for it maybe, but there's a great little bit of fan footage from behind the goal. Okay. And like I know he actually takes on about 5 players, but Troy.
Yeah. Good old Troy.
What a player.
He was a player. So, yeah, I mean, that's the kind of state of things at the minute. In terms of the fans coming back, there's 2 games coming up, obviously, as usual, over the next weekend. So we play Cheltenham on Saturday. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yep.
That's away. And then on the Tuesday, we're in the old EFL Papa John's job. Northampton come to St James Park. I believe...
I'm sick of them.
I know, I am too. But I believe they're going to let some fans into that game as a trial. Now, normally that kind of match gets somewhere between 500 and 1,500, doesn't it? depending on. Well, you went to one of the Saturday ones, and there was like 1,500 of you there, wasn't
That
there?
was that one where they weren't expecting anyone to come, and
But then
then
they put it on
we
a
had to go in the away end and
yeah,
whatnot.
What was that last
But
January?
but then because the week before about 10 people turned up, you know. But
so that's that. So there's no season ticket automatics for that. So presumably it will just be like they'll sell them in a minute.
Yeah, I don't know how it's going to work really. I mean, I think what we need to sort of do as supporters is be a bit. I mean, do what you want, but I would encourage people to just be patient with all this because this isn't a situation that anyone's like ever been in before. People are going to be disappointed, you know.
I'll tell you why you're
not everyone can go, but because I won't get one.
No, because we can't stand up.
The
current
is that
suggestion
what it is?
The current suggestion amongst other clubs is no standing. Now,
is that just because it's easier to sort of sit people in a seat?
I guess.
And this is where you go. It must be that.
I guess it's that. But then, of course, actually, we've got a very large standing terrace area. So if your ground is all like our away end, obviously that's quite hard to space out. Big Bank, I mean, why wouldn't you put at least 100 people in there?
Yeah, a bit of tape on the floor. It's not.
Just say everyone gets one barrier. You know, like
it's doable, isn't it? But yeah, again, we'll give them.
We'll see.
We've got to give them time to sort this out and get things the right way. It's happening, isn't it? It's hopefully. It's good news about this whole thing. It's not we want to talk about that. Hopefully, this is just the start of people going to go back to watch football again.
Yeah.
And we just give it time. Don't badger the people that work there in the club shop or whatever. I don't know. Don't know why I'm defending them. Really, nothing to do with me.
Should I not have gone to their letterbox this morning and
let me in?
Asked for tickets.
Yeah, I don't know. Do what you want.
All right, I might do that. So that's that. That's the current state of affairs. So we approach now Cheltenham, promotion rivals, I'm going to call them. We play them on Saturday. They're second. We sit in third. So I just want to flag up some of the stuff. We've got 30 goals in the league this year so far. 30.
Madness.
Which is the highest in all of England, or certainly in the professional leagues. Which puts us in third, like I said. We've won 3 in a row in the league. Here's the goal list, which I think you'll like, Dan. This is goals in all competitions. Jay's scored 7. Bowman and Joel Randall have got 6 each. Taylor's got 4. Williams has got 3. 1 each for Fisher, Parks and Josh Key. If you're adding that up, you'll also know there was an own goal for Mansfield. I mean, it's just remarkable.
It's nice, isn't it?
We could very easily finish the season with 3 players getting over 15.
You've said that now.
I have said
now
that.
Now no one's going to score ever again.
I've cursed it. But yeah, remarkable. Now, Cheltenham also having a really good season. Obviously, they sit in second. They've got our old pal, 2 old pals, really.
Well, yeah, you say pals.
I think one of them is a pal.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay.
Liam Sercombe.
He's no pal of mine.
I'll call him my pal, or certainly an old pal.
Okay.
He's there.
They got Sercombe, yeah.
He's been to Bristol Rovers and he's been to Oxford United since we saw him last. And then they've also got...
that's a man, you know, it's like being worried about Moxie. He's well past his best.
I think so. Now, talking of well past his best, they've also got Ruben Reed.
Yeah, I think he was doing quite well, actually, at the start of this season.
He's scored a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's them. They're unbeaten in 4.
We've faced Ruben Reed so many times since he's left, though, haven't we, for a couple of different clubs, Forest Green or whatever. And so, yeah, but it's surprising that... Well, it's not surprising they're doing so well. They always buy players, don't they, Cheltenham? And they're always up there, around about. They're a bit like us, really, aren't they? They do well and they don't go up.
They had a remarkably bad end of season, didn't they, last year?
Yeah.
Their playoffs, they threw it away against Northampton in the semi-finals.
Of course, yeah.
Like I can't remember the details.
But they were on brilliant form, weren't they? Going up. In fact, they were the team we were supposed to play. We were supposed to play next, weren't we?
Oh yeah, nearly next because it was Salford, wasn't it? I can't quite remember.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So obviously it's they've had a good start here as well. I find it quite strange that we're not so low down at the table, but it's taken us such a long time to climb up, considering how well the results have been going recently. But I think it's just because there's a lot of teams put a string in the wins together, aren't they?
I mean, Newport are top. Cheltenham are playing well.
Cambridge
I mean, and they've got a game in hand behind us.
Yeah.
So there's those 3 or 4 teams.
I mean, essentially, especially at League Two. I mean, well, of all leagues, it's too early to say, really. I mean, there's only a point even starting to talk about the league around now, isn't there? You know, and even then, it's no reflection necessarily of what it's going to be like at the end of the season. But it's getting towards the point where you can sort of say, well, this will probably be roughly about right, you know?
Yeah. Now, there's some games tonight. So Salford are playing Carlisle. Mansfield are playing Cambridge. So obviously these things will shift around a bit. But it's very nice to see us playing such nice football. I mean, that's the main thing, isn't it?
That's definitely, yeah. It's nice. I mean, I think I'd take results. So no, I don't know. I think it's maybe I would like that. It's really nice to actually have. We've always been a team that played well, or at least for the last however long. We've always been good with the ball on the floor, but now it's sort of kind of really kind of. It's such as our attack, which is very kind of potent, isn't it? You know, and it's an absolute joy to kind of withhold, really. Especially when I was talking again about how this time last year, it was like, even if we go on a winning run, it'd be like we're only scoring 1 goal, 1-0 here and there. And then we were constantly, every week, I remember going on about where the goal's going to come from. Why can't we, and ultimately that got us to the playoff final.
Yeah.
And we still didn't do much more than 1 a goal. I mean, I think we've already had more kind of big wins this season than we've had in the last few put together.
Yeah.
4-1, 6-1s, whatever, I
mean, we occasionally get one like that each season, don't we? But already we're in December and the season started late and we've had several occasions of scoring 4 or more, haven't we? So
yeah.
Really is an interesting time and a splendid time to be a Grecian. I tell you what's not so splendid. And I say this with the utmost respect.
Right.
And I value very much the good work that the social media team do for City.
Yeah.
But can they please stop referring to us and the team as you sexy Grecians?
Yeah, there's been some kind of shift in the Exeter City Twitter output, hasn't there? The last month or so. And I was kind of putting it down to, I don't know, maybe they're trying to appeal to kind of, I don't know,
people who like sexiness?
I don't know, the youngsters. I don't know who these people are. Are they even on Twitter, kids? Anyway, I don't know. Or maybe just kind of like someone else has taken over and they're a bit kind of lively.
Yeah.
Or, I don't know. Anyway, maybe it's just trying to be in line with other teams in the way they sort of... I don't say this... It doesn't bring me any pleasure to say this, but it's reminding me a bit of like how Argyle's social media was a couple of years ago. Do you know what I mean? It's just a bit like, oh, come on. Or whatever. Like, I don't care, but like, it's like, we're only even talking about it because we've had like literally people asking us to talk about it. And yeah, it's a little bit embarrassing, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think sexy's not a word I'd use in these circumstances. I mean, I wouldn't use it in any circumstance, to be honest.
It's not just that, is it? It's just like kind of like wanton emojis and just like... I don't know.
I think the football speaks for itself.
It's not
enough.
for me, maybe exactly. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's not aimed at me, and I'm rubbish at Twitter, so maybe it's like.
Anyway, that I think is an important topic, and I suppose it's probably my feelings around the phrase "love train" and then being described as sexy Grecians. It grosses me out, frankly.
Wouldn't have happened under Tisdale. He wouldn't have stood for it.
No, he would not. He just likes things in the cold. Oh, I'm surprised Matt Taylor, who's a man who clearly likes things in the cold light of day.
I bet he doesn't. I bet he doesn't even entertain sort of social media, full stop, does he?
And certainly not sexiness. There we are. That is enough chat about that business. Thanks for listening, everyone. Is there anything else we need to talk about, Dan?
I don't know if there is, really.
Fine.
I think that's about it.
You're here.
There's one note I had from last night, which I'm sure we've talked about before. It's like Grimsby having a player called Waterfall.
I mean, Josh Keys is big to himself. I shouldn't be chasing this. Hey!
Oh, I don't want to just let it pass without a mention.
It was very hard to stop a waterfall.
It was actually surprisingly easy.
How so?
Well, we stopped him, didn't we, easily?
Oh, him, yeah, but not actual waterfalls.
A real waterfall would have been a bigger challenge, yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know what you do about that. Big dam.
Yeah. Something to think about, listeners. We stopped him very well. We won't see Ian Holloway for a while. All things to be pleased about.
We will. Is that the second time he played? No, we'll see him again later in the year, won't we?
Oh, I suppose
He'll be back at
if
St James Park. We'll actually probably see him in the flesh.
If Gramper's not put out to pasture.
Yeah. No, he'll be there.
Well, he'll be first on the vaccination list, presumably. So.
Yeah, he probably will be. Get well soon, Ollie.
I don't think he's ill.
From your big defeat.
He's just defeated. Yeah. Okay. Thanks everyone for listening. This has been the Big Bank Theory podcast. We'll be back again next week, next Wednesday.
Yeah. What's the Tuesday game next week? EFL or something?
EFL, it's the old EFL. But I think it'd be worth talking about because maybe you'll be there eating a pizza.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think that'd be something worth waiting for.
Yeah, we'll see you in a week.
Lovely. Thanks for listening. My name's John. I've been here with my friend and colleague Dan.
Cheers.
See you soon.